like sports? Do you like beer? Do you love sports and beer? Then you're exactly where you need to be. This is the Huebs Views Brews show on 1252 Sports Chicago. Cheers.
Welcome on in. I hope you're having a great Monday here. It's been a while since I joined you guys. Last time I was on 1252, I was on along with Mike as we did our show from Coach's Corner on a Sunday, May 29th, the Sox and the Cubs series game that was just rolling right along, but neither team could score very many runs, and it went to extra innings and ended up a White Sox victory in 11 innings. Don't forget, if you ever miss any of the things we do here on 1252, you can catch them. Heck, you can usually catch them back. Check it out on the Facebook if you're watching on Facebook, or you can go to YouTube, 1252 Sports. Same with Twitch. And you can always hear the shows on Spotify. The audio is on Spotify usually the day after the shows are done, so you can catch all that stuff then. So no show last week because of the holiday. Now we're ready to roll, and we've got a beer guest later on today, Jim Koblish from Hop District, the newest brewery in Illinois, in LaGrange Park. He'll join us around 7:30ish, talk about the brewery, why he decided to open one, why he decided to open it in LaGrange Park, and how it's going to work, number of taps, all kinds of things, his favorite beer, how he got involved in this crazy business of brewing beer. So we will discuss that around 7:30. We got some Sox and Cubs baseball to get into. Both teams with the day off today, and damn, the Cubs can use one because not that they have played poorly. They actually haven't. They've against the White Sox, Brewers, and Cardinals, they've gone 5-6, and 3 of those games I think were in extra innings. They losing 3 in extra innings. So the Cubs have made games interesting, at least, okay? And I think that's all you can expect right now from a team that's in transition. But both teams have the day off. The Cubs get to play Baltimore for a couple of games coming up Tuesday, Wednesday. White Sox got the Dodgers coming to town. We'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about baseball and everything else. It is Huebs, Views, and Brews. Oh, we'll also talk about Yasmani Grandal. I can't tell you how many times I tweeted about that piece of crap. Behind the plate, at first base, at the plate, whatever it is, just terrible. But anyway, it is Huebs, Views, and Brews. So I went to my fridge, and I had beers that I had recently. I had a raspberry flavored 1853 from Nick and Ivy. I had a beer from Black Horizon sitting in there. I had a couple others from Skeleton Key, and I decided that I was going to pull this one out. I bought this a couple weeks ago. I bought Linda's son. It was his birthday recently. I bought him some beers. Went over to Orange and Brew. Eric Schmidt, great guy. I picked up some beers over there. Had a couple of beers while I was there, but I picked one up for me too. This is a Hubbard's Cave Coco Van, and it is an Imperial Stout, barrel aged. I'm sorry, not barrel aged. Well, Imperial Stout, toasted coconut, and vanilla beans. So this is going to be tasty. It's 12% alcohol by volume. It's funny. It's got 2021-3. So I guess it's good for a couple of years. And so I'm right in the middle, 2022. And I pop it open. And it's the reason I use these glasses, other than the fact that I love them, and I love Jesse at the Showboat Saloon in the Wisconsin Dells. Great guy, great bar. Cannot wait to get up there at least once, if not twice, this coming year. But it's a bigger glass. It holds 17 ounces. It holds this entire can of Coco Van from Hubbard's Cave. Now, oh yeah, it's very tasty. Very good. It tastes exactly the way I thought it would. Really good sweetness. You got the toasted coconut. You get a lot of the stout taste. The vanilla beans are really right on top of it. So that's awesome. Enjoying the heck out of it. Um, let's go. Let's look at some baseball. We'll start with the White Sox. Okay. And we'll get to Cubs. I got a lot of cool Cubs stuff here because they had an interesting weekend with their doubleheader on Saturday with a couple of rookie pitchers pitching for the Cubs. But the White Sox, they went to Toronto, and that was a disaster. I'd gone up to, it wasn't called Rogers Center when I went up there. It was called Skydome. This was back in, 2008, 2009. Went to Skydome and saw the Sox and Blue Jays in a weekend series. This is when I was doing play-by-play for the Chicago Fire soccer team. The Fire had a game in Toronto. So my buddy Larry and his daughter, Christy, we went to the game on Friday, the Sox game. Saturday, they went to Niagara Falls, and I called the Fire game against Toronto. And then on Sunday, we went back and watched the final game of the series. Sox didn't do well then. They didn't do well this past weekend as they dropped 3 straight to the Blue Jays. Then they go to Tampa, and they don't play any better as they lose the first game in Tampa. So they needed something. And that something is Jake Burger. Jake Burger is a guy that a little bit earlier this year was playing well, hitting better than Gavin Sheets has been hitting. And Jake Burger got sent down. Now, Gavin Sheets can play right field. He can play first base. He can play DH. He's a left-handed hitter. These left-handed hitters have a big advantage in Major League Baseball because everyone's looking for a left-handed hitter, okay? So, but Sheets is not hitting. And I like Gavin Sheets. He's not hitting. Something's got to happen. So Jake Burger has been playing third because Yoan Moncada has been out. It's been a rough year for Yoan Moncada staying in the lineup. He hasn't been able to do it. We know about the injuries to, Luis Robert out for a little while. Eloy Jimenez out. He's on the comeback trail. He's playing some games down in Charlotte. But Jake Burger with a game-winning home run, hitting a home run, giving the White Sox a win on Saturday. And then on Sunday, the White Sox score 4 runs in the first inning off Ron Yarborough. And it was a 2-run ground rule double with the bases loaded for Burger. And then Yasmani Grandal, no, don't call him Yaz. He checks his swing, and the ball goes over the second baseman's head. 2 more runs scored. Sox get 4 in the first, 2 in the second. They needed them all as they hang on for a 6-5 win yesterday. So the Sox are 25-27. That's not great. That's not what they're looking for. But they're in a division where they can still win. Minnesota has not been playing great. They have not pulled away. The White Sox have allowed, because they've been playing poorly, they've allowed the Cleveland Guardians to hang around and be close. And because of that, it could become more of a race. And now the White Sox have, after a day off today, they have the LA Dodgers coming to town. Now you think, okay, you got the Dodgers coming to town, but you know what? You miss Clayton Kershaw. You miss Walker Buehler. The Dodgers just split a 4-game series in Los Angeles with the Mets over the weekend. And Buehler and Kershaw were going. So the White Sox don't have to face either one of them. So you go, oh, that's great. You don't have to face them. Well, the pitchers the White Sox are facing, especially on Wednesday and Thursday, are actually pitching better than those 2 guys. On Tuesday, it'll be Mitch White, middle-of-the-road guy, 4 ERA, going against Michael Kopech. Kopech had 9 days rest before his last outing, pitched badly, and then they said, well, maybe he had too much rest. Just give the guy his 4 damn days of rest and throw him out there every 5 days. That's what you got to do. He pitched well in the outing before that, but then, let's pamper this little child, who throws the ball 100 miles an hour, and that's what the White Sox and all of baseball does. It's aggravating. It's frustrating as a fan. They can't figure it out. But Kopech goes on Tuesday. Wednesday, Johnny Cueto, who's been pitching well, he's got a 2.92 ERA, hasn't gotten a win yet for the Sox, but he's going against Tony Gonsolin. And Gonsolin is 6-0 with a 159 earned run average. Yeah, 6-0, 159 ERA. So the White Sox have their hands filled there. Then it'll be Dylan Cease on Thursday, a Thursday afternoon game. If you want to get out and see the Dodgers, a Thursday afternoon might be good. Plus, there's a chance it might rain on Wednesday night. If that's the case, maybe they play 2 on Thursday. Who knows? You never know. But Dylan Cease, who went 4 2/3 the other day and walked 7. That's right. He walked 7 guys. And that's been his problem at times in previous years. Last year, walking guys. He's got great stuff, but it seems like he gets into his head sometimes. 7 walks and 4 2/3. White Sox eventually got the win because of the Jake Berger home run on Saturday night. But it'll be Dylan Cease going against Tyler Anderson. Now, unless you're a big baseball fan or a fantasy baseball guy, rotisserie baseball is what it was originally called. A couple of guys in New York actually started it years and years ago. Tyler Anderson's a left-hander. I mentioned to you that Gonsolin is 6-0 with a 159 ERA. Tyler Anderson's 7-0 with a 259 earned run average. He's got 21 consecutive scoreless innings. And I was watching on MLB Central early this morning, and I saw Dan Plesac, the crafty lefty, breaking down a Tyler Anderson. And the White Sox are going to have their hands full. So we'll see what they can do on Tuesday with Kopech on the bump, then Cueto going against Gonsolin on Wednesday, and on Thursday, Dylan Cease against Tyler Anderson. You would think when you're missing Buehler and Kershaw, things to be good. We'll see after the 3-game series. Speaking of, I was going to say speaking of Buehler, but no, not speaking of Buehler. You look at it, and the White Sox, they've got they're 2 games under 500 right now. They need to play better. They need to hit the ball. And the thing is, they were hitting the ball on Sunday early. They get a 6-0 lead, and then they stopped hitting. And that's happened to the White Sox before. But Andrew Vaughn, remember before the season started, it's, oh, you need a pitcher. You had to move Andrew Vaughn. Do this. Come on. And Andrew Vaughn is just a pure hitter. He's been hitting the ball like crazy. He hit it in Toronto, even though the White Sox weren't winning. He hit it in Tampa over the weekend. And Andrew Vaughn is a guy, the problem that Tony La Russa has, and I have not kept up on it because right now the Sox have played 52 games, okay? After 49, they've had 49 games and 49 different lineups. Not sure if that's the same. I don't know the last 3 days if Tony played a lineup that he had played before. But, yeah, Jake Berger at third base. You got to get Andrew Vaughn out there. You want to bring in Adam Engel at the end of the game. That's fine for defensive purposes. A good game for Luis Robert the other day. He's starting to hit the ball a little bit. Pollock was the only guy I think that didn't have hit on Sunday for the White Sox. Tim Anderson's still down. You're playing Danny Mendick. So the injuries have really slowed down the White Sox this year, but they've had some success recently. I think winning those 2 games and having a day off was a great thing with the Dodgers coming to town. So we'll see how things go Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Dallas Keuchel was put on designated for assignment, and earlier today he signed a minor league contract with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Good for Dallas Keuchel. That's fine. Get your money while you can. Get out. Then you can be retired. And I'm just glad he's not here. I got tired of watching him. It just has not been pretty. And that Yankee game was just probably one of the more ugly games you'll see. I talked to a guy the other day, my buddy Pete, my financial guy, Pete. He said he was at that game against the Yankees in first inning. He just barely sat down. It was 3-0, and it never got much better out there with Dallas Keuchel on the bump. So Dallas is no longer a member of the White Sox. He signs a minor league deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Good for him. Let him go wherever he wants to go. Now, if I hear Gordon Beckham, a lot of people don't like Gordon Beckham. He's trying to be, I don't know, he's trying to be a little bit funny. And with Jason Benetti, they just go and it's just a chuckle hut. And it's not great. But if I hear them refer to Yasmani Grandal as Yaz one more time, Mike and I talked about it at Coach's Corner. Yeah, and he just keeps popping Yaz up on the screen, Mike does. Yaz is for Carl Yastrzemski. It's not Yasmani Grandal. Do not call him Yaz. I said it's for Carl and Mike Yastrzemski, and people called up and said no, or texted me and tweeted me. They said no, not even for Mike. Yaz is just for Carl Yastrzemski. Triple Crown winner in '67. One of Hawks' guys, held the bat way up high, and yeah, he's Yaz, not Yasmani Grandal. Don't call him Yaz. That's an insult to Carl Yastrzemski and anybody that ever watched Carl Yastrzemski play baseball. Okay, Yasmani Grandal as of today, is hitting a blistering 163. His on base, which is why you have him because he can't hit, his on base is 274. Nah, not really good. His slugging, well, maybe his slugging's better, huh? No, 213. His slug is 213. He has 2 homers and 11 RBIs. He has 2 errors, and he has 6 pass balls. And he is brutal. He had a pass ball in Saturday's game. He played first base on Sunday, and the White Sox had the lead. Lucas Giolito was on the bump. Giolito was struggling in the 6th inning. There's a ball thrown to Yasmani at first base. He bobbles it for an error. 3 unearned runs scored in that inning. The final of the game was 6-5. They had to hang on. You can't put him anywhere. He's brutal. Listen, if you're going to use him at all, use him as a DH against right-handed hitters. Leave Reese McGuire behind the plate. McGuire can throw people out at least. And have either Sheets or Vaughn or Abreu at first. You do not want Yasmani Grandal anywhere with a glove on. It's brutal. It's like the old Michael Jackson, line. He wears one glove for no apparent reason. That's what Yasmani Grandal does. He wears one glove for no apparent reason. He can't catch. He can't play first. He's a piece of garbage. And the White Sox made a bad move to get him. Now, people will say, well, he's a good framer. God, I cannot wait till the computerized strike zone comes in and framing will go out of the game. Okay? Out of it. Completely out of it. Framing, well, Yasmani may as well retire when that comes in because he is just absolutely brutal. So that's enough of my railing about Yasmani Grandal. I'm watching the game, MLB Central today. And over the last week, I've made names of former White Sox players and or relatives that grew up at the ballpark. Remember Eddie Alvarez? He was the speed skater. Then he played for he was White Sox property as a baseball player, and he played at the Olympics. And I'm watching the highlights, and there goes Eddie Alvarez with a single, driving in a run for the LA Dodgers. He's now coming to the South Side and Guaranteed Rate Field. Luis Gonzalez, no, not the guy that played with the Cubs, not the guy that hit the big lot of home runs and played for Houston, a lot of other things. This Luis Gonzalez is a guy that was in the outfield for the White Sox a year or so ago. The White Sox, I can't remember if they just moved him or let him go. He's hitting .317 with 2 homers and 17 RBIs. Okay, he's doing that for San Francisco. And Alek Thomas, we saw him when the Diamondbacks played at Wrigley Field a week or so ago. Alek Thomas's dad was the strength and conditioning coach for the White Sox for about, I want to say 10 years. He's no longer there, but Alek Thomas basically grew up with the White Sox. He grew up right there all the time. He's hitting .239, 5 homers, 9 RBIs. I think he had 3 of those homers against the Cubs in that series at Wrigley Field. But these are all guys that were White Sox property or grew up as fans of the South. Megaplex Sports. Play that. There we go. We weren't meaning to play that. And they grew up with just, guys that were here. So 3 guys that I'm watching, and the White Sox have been looking for another outfielder for years. So maybe one of these guys, maybe Luis Gonzalez, could have actually done the job. Let's switch sides to the north side of town. Don't forget, we're going to talk with Jim Koblish from Hop District in just a couple of minutes. And Cubs are 23-32. They have 2 fewer wins than the White Sox. They got 2 with Baltimore coming up Tuesday, Wednesday. Then they go to New York to play the Yankees for a weekend series. That could be scary. But they had a 5-game series with St. Louis. And I mentioned the Cubs, an interesting week. They had 4 games in 3 days against the Brewers and 5 games in 4 days against the Cardinals after playing the White Sox for 2 games. So they went 5-6 in those 11 games with the White Sox, the Brewers, and the Cardinals, losing 3 of those games in extra innings. So the Cubs have been fun to watch. They've been getting homers. Schwindel has been going deep. P.J. Higgins has had a homer and a couple of big hits. The backup catcher for the Cubs, Patrick Wisdom, still hitting the ball hard. But the story for the Cubs, and they did a big in-depth thing on MLB Central today, is Christopher Morel. Now, we talked about Christopher Morel's first plate appearance in the major leagues, It's when he had a 3-2 count. He hit the homer, rounded the bases at Wrigley Field, was all pumped up, missed first base, had to come back and get it. Was great to see. Morel has now reached base safely in each of his 20 games to start his season. Not only to start the season, to start his career. He's closing in on the record of Rocco Baldelli. Rocco Baldelli reached base in the first 24 games of his career. Rocco Baldelli, now the manager of the Minnesota Twins. So Morel has been playing very, very well. He's enthusiastic. He had a great time talking to Albert Pujols at first base because I guess he played with him in the Dominican League in the summer. Morel is a guy to keep an eye on. We'll see if he's one of those guys that the Cubs have found that can be a player going forward. That's what they're looking for this year. They're looking for players that can be guys to go forward with. And Morel seems to be a lot of fun, a guy that can play the game. He can play outfield. We've seen him in the infield. We've seen him everywhere, and he gets on base. Like I said, 20 straight games getting on base to start his career. On Saturday, they had a couple of guys going. Matt Swarmer is a guy that pitched a couple of starts with the Cubs, pitching pretty well for a young kid, a rookie that they called up. Then Caleb Killian. This is a guy that they got from the Giants in the Chris Bryant deal when KB went to San Francisco. And Killian got the start on Saturday against St. Louis. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, 3 hits. David Ross left him out there for a little while. He got sent back down. The odds are he's one of the guys that the Cubs will try to build around. He had a really nice ERA in the minors. He had a 2-0 record. I know Paul from Nick and Ivy was excited to go on out to the game and see him pitch on Saturday. So we'll see. A couple of good things for the Cubs as you look forward to the future. And coming into the season, you weren't expecting a whole heck of a lot after all the guys have defected and left. The Cubs didn't make a whole lot of moves, and they're building. And I know that Jed Hoyer doesn't want to say rebuild. Who cares what the general manager wants to say? If you think it's a rebuild, call it a rebuild. You call it a retool, whatever you want to call it. They're not winning right now. A lot of these so-called experts say that it's going to take them a couple of years to win because they need pitching and players. When you lose a majority of your team. Think about it. From the time in 2016, you lose almost the entire pitching staff except for Kyle Hendricks. You lose Chris Bryant, you lose Rizzo, you lose Baez. They're all gone. Not that they're doing great anywhere where they're at. Bryant can't stay on the field. He just keeps getting hurt. But the Cubs are going to have to rebuild this thing. Maybe it'll lead to David Kaplan doing another book, The Plan 2, if that ever happens. Okay. So we'll see. We'll keep up to date on how the Cubs do this week. The 2 games in Baltimore could be close. Schwindel and Wisdom are going to be interesting because they move the wall, the fences back in left field, and see how many warning track fly balls get hit in that 2-game series with the Cubs and the Orioles. The Paul Goldschmidt was here in town for the 5-game series. Paul Goldschmidt has a 42-game on base streak. 42 games for Goldschmidt, and people talk about him being a Hall of Famer. They say he's an unbelievably, really nice guy. I'm sorry, my watch is talking to me, so if you hear that. But Goldschmidt with a 42-game on base streak, that's very cool. Also in baseball, speaking of the 2016 Cubs, Joe Maddon's LA Angels at Anaheim were really, really good. They were at one point, they were 10 games over 500, looking like they were going to compete with anybody in the West. People had visions of Dodgers Angels World Series. People have visions of the Mets and Yankees World Series, which is probably a little bit closer. But the Angels have now gone off and lost 11 straight games. That's right, 11 straight games. Mike Trout, the guy that they always say is the best player in baseball, he is 0 for his last 26. And, we'll see what he does. He's been struggling big time. 0 for 26. They say he looks bad at the plate. Angels losing 11 in a row. A couple other notes I want to get to before we take a break, hear from some of our sponsors, and then talk some beer and talk about Hop District Brewing. 98 days today. 98 days from today, we'll be at Nick and Ivy Brewing because it'll be September 11th. And my 49ers will be taking on the Bears to start the NFL season for the Bears. It'll be the first Sunday of the NFL. Cannot wait. That'll be fun. There was some NFL news today. Aaron Donald, people have said, well, he may retire. He's won. Yeah, he's going to retire. He just gets a new deal, 2-year extension, $60 million added on to what he had remaining. So Aaron Donald's not going anywhere. And a sad note in hockey. Let's go back to some it's not revisionist history when I bring this up. But in hockey, Eric Nestorenko was the guy that played for the Chicago Blackhawks. He was on the 1961 Stanley Cup winners and played for the Hawks for 16 years. My dad back in 1967 had a thing called the Art Mercier Sports Spectacular. And Art Mercier was a guy, an outdoors guy. He had a show on WBBM. And Eric Nestorenko came out to the Sports Spectacular. So I had a chance to talk to him, see him. In 1967, I was 10. But my dad had me running around working, cooking hot dogs, taking care of Ernie Banks' kids, all kinds of stuff. But Eric Nestorenko passed away earlier today. He was in the movie Youngblood. Rob Lowe in the movie as a young hockey player, and Eric Nestorenko played his dad. So another Blackhawk great passes away. And condolences to Eric Nestorenko's family. I'm going to enjoy some of this beer. We're going to hear from our sponsors. When we come back, we'll talk more beer with Jim Koblish from Hop District right here on Huebs Views and Brews.
Hello, this is Paul from Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. We are located at 1026 South State Street in historic downtown Lockport, Illinois. We are very excited to be partnering up with the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show as well as the 1252 brand because we are one of the few Chicagoland breweries that embrace sports and sports culture. Come in for a fresh brewed beer made right here in Lockport while catching the game of your favorite team. Stay for the live music that we have booked every weekend. Or just come for a cozy atmosphere to enjoy a good conversation with a friend, loved one, or complete stranger. Nick and Ivy makes you feel right at home no matter what the occasion is. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for Nick and Ivy Brewing Company. Visit our website for our up-to-date tap list or to go shopping on our online store at nickivybrewing.com. That's Nikivy brewing.com. Come in today for fresh brewed beer born and raised in Lockport, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Darren, licensed real estate broker with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group in Homer Glen. Are you looking to buy or sell? Have you been disappointed in the past? The Jonathan Darren team with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group focuses on providing you with a concierge level of service during the process of buying or selling. We are a service-oriented team with a fresh and professional approach to selling real estate. Our goal is to combine knowledge, skills, and passion to exceed our clients' expectations, and most of all, we truly care. We are a knowledgeable real estate team focused on offering expertise and innovative solutions for our clients. The Jonathan Darren team has 5 full-service real estate brokers and a dedicated full-time marketer servicing all of Chicagoland. We will customize a detailed plan around your timeline for a sale, purchase, investment, estate, or other needs. Real estate transactions can be stressful, but don't need to be. Let us handle it for you. Visit our website, homesbyjdt.com, or call 708-308-1938 today. Expect better in real estate. Choose the Jonathan Darren team. Hi, I'm Jonathan.
Megaplex Sports Complex is a 78,000 square foot center filled with hardwood and turf. They have baseball rentals with batting cages, softball, soccer, lacrosse, gymnastics, cheerleading, cornhole, basketball, volleyball, and pickleball. It also features a bar and grill with the best pizza and beef sandwiches around. They cater to events such as birthdays, graduations, corporate parties, as well as memorabilia shows. Check them out at Megaplex Sports Complex, 15301 South Bell Road in Homer Glen, 708-966-4210. Welcome back, Huebs Views and Brews here on a Monday night. We saw some pictures from the Jonathan Darren spot and also a little bit of talk from Paul from Nick and Ivy. And this coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Old Canal Days down the street from downtown Lockport. And I know Paul and I think my guy Mike, Fat Mike's going to be pouring some beers at Old Canal Days. And I'm going to try and get out there. We got out there last year, me and Linda, and we went and it started raining. So we had a beer or two and we were standing under the beer tent and it was raining so hard that all of a sudden the water started coming into the beer tent. And we said, it's not going to stop for a while. We may as well run to the car. Well, of course, we parked at the very end of the parking lot. So by the time we got there and got into my new car, I had it for like 2 months, we were drenched, soaking wet. And as soon as we got in the car, we drove to Nick and Ivy. And when we got out of the car at Nick and Ivy, which is about a mile away, the sun was out and it had stopped raining. If we would have just waited. That's what happens when you get to be impatient. And that was me and Linda. We were impatient. But it's a story. We have our stories. And that's one of them we will not forget. Hopefully it will not rain too much at Old Canal Days this weekend. One of the cool things about doing a show about sports and beer is that there's always new stuff to talk about. And there's always seems to be new breweries. There's a lot of breweries I haven't talked to. But a new brewery opened up in LaGrange Park just a couple of weeks ago. And we are going to talk about Hop District with their owner and brewer, Jim Koblish. Jim, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How's it going?
Good. Am I saying your last name right?
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Okay. Okay.
It's far from the worst I've heard, but cobblefish being one of them.
Okay. Well, I've heard all kinds, and every once in a while people will pronounce a name which doesn't make sense, but that's the way the family does it. So I just wanted to make sure I at least get close, but I can't mispronounce Jim, so I'm good on that.
Perfect.
So
thanks for having me.
Okay. First of all, I didn't know this when I came out and saw your place. I was there. You guys opened on May 20th. You had your ribbon cutting and all the other stuff. I came out there Saturday morning, sat at the bar, had a flight, talked to Steve, I think it is, a guy that I think, yes, you worked with previously. He was filling me in on what was going on. But I did not know that Hop District is the 300th brewery to open in Illinois. Did you know that beforehand?
No idea, but just a happy coincidence. I think, that's going to be a fun theme to play off of.
Yeah, I think it was very, very cool. And it just gives me an idea that I've only talked to a certain number. There's so many more I can actually get to now. Your place was awesome. How did you get started? I went and looked at your Facebook and I saw that you've been a brewer for a while, but I looked and the first place you brewed was not in Illinois.
No, you know what? Coincidentally, I'm actually my T-shirt was it's actually from that place. It's down in Florida called Bury Me Brewing. So it is unfortunately now closed, but it was an awesome little place. Started as a brew pub, and they expanded and got a bigger system. At that point, I had actually just had a baby, and we ended up moving away. But started down in Florida and then moved up here.
Well, and we'll get more into this, but your family, I think, is from this area. So how did you end up in Florida in the first place?
Well, I went down there for school.
Okay.
And believe it or not, actually, before brewing, I was a distiller. So I actually started distilling down in Florida before brewing even. But I went to school down there for a couple of years and ended up staying for several years. And things just, when we had our baby, Shane, the other owner, when we decided that, we needed to make some changes, and we came back up north where we had some family support and, some good schools and a nice neighborhood to move into.
Sure. That's great. So then you worked at other places. I'm seeing here brewer and operations manager at Peckish Pig. You worked at Half Day. And
Nevins and Plainfield, and then Motor Row. Okay.
And did you work in Oak Park too? Was one of those in Oak Park? Or did you work in Oak Park at all? Okay.
No, not Oak Park. Evanston, Plainfield, and then the South Loop. Yeah.
Okay. Nevins was a great place. It was funny because there was a place north that they weren't originally a brewery. I don't think, right? I think they were they a restaurant first and then became a brewery, or was it a brewery and then became a restaurant?
I was added on towards the end. You'd have to ask Mark Wilson down at Oswego, but he's moving on himself. So, But Mark was an awesome guy. And then I actually worked with Corey, who's over at Miskatonic right now. And
Okay.
I had a great time there. Yeah.
So how did you, when you're going to school and when you're doing things, first of all, how did you decide to become a distiller and then a brewer? How does that go in the line of what am I going to do for a career?
Yeah, it's kind of a specific thing, right?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I was in college and I was given a basically write a business plan type of project. And at the time, I had recently inherited a small piece of farmland.
Okay.
So, entrepreneurial mind, I guess. I just thought, okay, I've got all this corn. What do you do with corn? So you make whiskey out of corn, right? So
yeah.
I guess I started learning how and thought it was pretty cool. So I kept going on that road and eventually led me to beer.
So you've worked in other places as a head brewer, as an operations guy. How difficult was it for you to make the jump to be an owner of your own brewery?
Oh man, that is a big jump. Especially mid COVID and supply chain stuff, and it was very difficult. A big learning curve, but the biggest part of it, I had never really done a lot of the kind of back end licensing and permitting type stuff, which we did all ourselves, and we pulled it off. And I think we did a pretty good job. We got things done pretty swiftly. That was a big learning curve for me. And believe it or not, I learned a lot of stuff actually building the brewery and tap room itself with my dad. So that was a cool thing to do. We built every surface that you can see in there.
That's awesome. And it's a great place. It's so comfortable, and you're really big into families coming there. And I noticed that, and we'll talk more about that. How did Shane get involved in beer? Just by being with you?
Well, she's just a beer lover in general. And we've talked about this for years. We've looked for buildings around town and always thought, okay, like one day maybe this could be a reality.
Sure.
And when this building came available, it sort of just dropped in our lap, and we said, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the time to make a go at it. But her background is in hospitality,
which helps.
She was did bartending, bar management with TGI Fridays and nightclubs for like 12 years, and it's really, really cool. When she's there and the tap room is hopping, she comes alive and she's taking care of everybody, making sure everyone's having an awesome time. So that's her strength. So I'm the day guy. She gets to do the fun stuff.
Well, it's interesting too, because when I was there, the day I was there, I had my 4 flights. I was just sitting around looking, and everything was going on, and there was one of the people that you had working was having a hard time getting a cap on a growler. Okay. And she came over and said, and was showing him and making sure, and it was great because she was like walking them through it and making sure they all knew. And she gathered a couple people over there, and I thought that was awesome, especially for day 2, because everyone's got to make sure. Because I was there at 11:30, so I know I saw pictures from Saturday night at like 7:30, and the place was
wild.
Oh my God.
The place wild.
Yes, the place was jumping, but it was great because she took control, and she made sure, she said, let's make sure we know how to do this. And it was awesome. And there's always going to be something. There's always going to be little things that come up and that pop up. Why LaGrange Park? Now, I know I talked to you, but you can explain a little bit why LaGrange Park is the place you decided to have this at.
Well, one thing that's nice about LaGrange Park is I live here. We live literally 2 blocks away.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, part of the name itself is that we wanted to be a part of this neighborhood, support this neighborhood. We live here. Our kids go to school here. We work here. I can walk to work. I can see my friends and neighbors. And that was one of the biggest draws about it was, this is like our town. Let's make it all about our town. So that was a big draw for us. Yeah.
Yeah. And I should have made sure I said that, because your name is Hop District Community Brewing. Yeah. And so that community is a big thing. And when I was there, I could tell. I mean, because even though it was 11 or 12 or 11:30, 12 o'clock, it took me a little while to drink my flight. I could see people slowly but surely coming in, and there were younger people, there were people with kids coming in and stuff like that. And I could tell. Plus, there's a lot of people that know the area because of the restaurant next door.
Oh,
because,
yeah, for sure. And the
yes,
zoo. Yeah.
Yes. But anybody to be honest, anybody that's been to a funeral, a lot of times, like Queen of Heaven Cemetery has a deal, and they go to, was it Marone's?
Matone.
I'm sorry. They go to Matone for the meal afterwards. And I'd been there a couple times. So when I went to your place, I go, oh, it's easy. I know exactly where this is. And so it's a perfect location. 31st Street's a great place. It's nice for me that you're on the right side of the tracks because I've been stopped by that damn train because I grew up in Cicero.
We all do.
Yeah,
we all do.
I know. I grew up in Cicero and got stuck by that train numerous times. But your location's awesome. You've got a beer garden. I saw the picture. If people go and follow you, the picture on the wall is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, with everything.
Wanted to make a little bit of fun out there. So.
Oh yeah, you have to, I think. And your tap room and it looks like a bar. You got bars and tables, but then if you walk through the door, it's like you're all of a sudden like in a speakeasy almost. You got couches, you got nice big chairs. It looks comfortable. You got games and stuff like that. And
you nailed it, yeah.
Yeah, and that seems to be one of the things. You want to get everybody involved, make them come here and feel comfortable. And I can't imagine anybody walks in and doesn't feel comfortable.
Well, with the main room with the 18-foot ceilings, it's we call it upscale industrial, but we knew we couldn't replicate that same feeling of that room. So we said, okay, let's just do something totally different. So we went for kind of that swanky lounge feel.
Yeah.
With the bar up in the window, the dim lighting, there's even a hashtag going on. It's the green couch, the velvet green couch.
There you go.
Hashtag the green couch. Yeah, that's been a popular thing, but it's just a different vibe. It's actually developed to be kind of like almost like a family area or like a quieter sitting area because it's not quite as busy. There's not as much hustle at the bar, so they can go over there, actually sit down and talk. So.
From the time you guys actually decided that this is what we're going to do, we're going to have this building, we're going to start it. How long did it take you start to finish?
About a year and a half.
Okay, that's not bad.
I'll say that we're actually planning to open up 6 months earlier. But if you remember all those shipping containers that were floating out in the ocean for a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, our whole brew house was sitting on one of them.
Oh,
so, we everything got put on hold for about 5 months. So we were just kind of sitting there twiddling our thumbs. But it gave us a lot of time to kind of catch up on the details and work out planning, start hiring. And we got a great staff. We really do. You mentioned Shane taking care of the staff behind the bar. Right. Most of our staff, a good chunk of them, have actually had zero hospitality experience. They were just great people. They were just great people. They wanted to learn. They wanted to be a part of it. And we just said, okay, we'll teach you the beer part. That's easy. But you can't teach personality.
No. And most places have flights. Now, when COVID came around, there were no flights for a lot of places. They started just doing plastic cups that weren't flights and things like that. When I walked into your place, had a flight. It was awesome. I posted a picture of one of it. I had the Maybach. I had the I can't see it now because it's on something else. But I know I had like 2 of yours. But then I was surprised because I looked and there were like 8 beers up there. And I was trying to figure out how many of those beers were yours. And I looked and I saw Old Style, Hackershore. Hackershore is one of my all-time favorites. I actually just went to a place and bought a 4-pack of Hackershore Weiss beer the other day. And it's one of my favorites. How many of your beers do you hope to have? I mean, first of all, how many taps do you have? And then how many beers of your own do you plan on having at one time there?
Okay, so we have 12 taps in total. We opened with 5. So Imperial Stout, Kolsch, Maybach, a Hazy, and a West Coast IPA is what we started with. So if that helps you remember what was in your flight, I don't know.
I had the Hazy and the West Coast and the Hackershore and the Maybach. Yeah. So now I know. Cool. Yeah.
So the goal is to have all of the taps be ours, except for a cider that we plan on keeping on all the time.
Sure.
A little variety doesn't hurt. And we're going to continue to have guest beers. We're just going to shift those over to cans. It makes things easier, and we're more of the front seat but we still want to offer other great options just because, if somebody doesn't care for or is not in the mood for whatever we're offering that day, I'm sure we can find you something else. We're just happy that you're there hanging out.
Yeah. And that was the way I felt when I was there, because I saw a couple, and I went online and I looked at some of the guest beers you have up there now, and I saw Gummy Apocalypse from Noon Whistle, a Cigar City Pale Ale, which is awesome because I know a lot of people in the area probably haven't had Cigar City on tap.
Yeah, well, it's a little nod to our Florida roots.
There you go. You had the Popular Kid from Alter. You have a Trumer Pils, which is people that love Pilsners. They love Trumer, and that's awesome. But you also had a beer where the proceeds are going to humanitarian efforts for the Ukraine. That was awesome. How did you get involved with that one?
That was actually through one of our distributors, Lakeshore. We've got a great rep. He's been extremely supportive. And he basically said, hey, this is a limited thing. I don't know how long we're going to be doing this, but, I can get you a couple of kegs allocated for this,
Sure.
Ukrainian humanitarian thing. So we said, yeah, why didn't you start the conversation with that? So we brought that on board, and we bought a couple more the following week too.
Now, if someone was asking you, well, like I am now, what your favorite beer to brew is, what would you tell them?
My favorite beer to
style of beer to brew.
Oh man, that's tough. I like anything that's a challenge.
Okay.
Right now we're working on some sours, but what's funny is I like to do, like I said, things that are a challenge, even if I don't necessarily drink them.
Okay.
So some barrel fermented wild ales I think are super cool, and I find it really interesting. Even though I may not make it my daily drinker, but
sure.
I like to pride myself on making very, very clean beers. So if I can make a classic German Pils, I could do that every day, but they definitely take a little bit longer to do.
Yeah, I know. And sometimes when you have a place, it makes it difficult because people are looking for them, and it takes a while. They're not something you can crank out like some of the other beers.
True. I don't know about you, but I'm personally a very seasonal guy.
Okay.
Big stouts in the winter, light and crisp in the summer. So I tend to brew accordingly. So it's kind of whatever I'm feeling and I'm in the mood, and that kind of follows that.
Well, I saw somebody holding up, and what could have been you, holding up a can of the Atomic Renegade, your session IPA. And was that one of the, because that wasn't there the first weekend, but obviously you've only been open for a couple weeks, but so that was something obviously that was in the making.
Yeah, that was a really cool experiment. Last week we released an American wheat, and this past week we did the Atomic Renegade, which it uses a new yeast strain from Omega in the city.
Okay.
And that mysterious powder that everyone seems to be talking about, Phantasm. Through a buddy, I got my hands on about 10 pounds of it. So, I got a guy. So that was a really cool experiment because it was like, okay, this is new to a lot of people. We don't really know what to expect. This is my first time using it. Omega's brand new yeast strain, which is supposed to react with it. So that was a really cool thing. It made some really wild flavors and aromas, super tropical.
Cool. Yeah. That's awesome. I got to come back and try that one because that sounds great. Your favorite beer to drink, not necessarily right now, but all time. Like if you're a guy and you're walking into a store, let's go with a manufactured beer and then your favorite style.
Okay, let's see. Manufactured meaning just like I could get it just on a regular daily basis.
Sure,
that's a tough question. I believe it or not, I'm mainly lagers and IPAs still. I find myself being more burnt out on IPAs lately, unless they're only like a couple of weeks old, which is pretty tough to find.
Sure.
So I go for some classic German lagers, like Helles, or even some of the macros. Like I'll do like a Paulaner. I'll drink Stella from time to time, Modelo, but I always prefer it out of a can. It's something that it is a macro, but they're really nicely made. They're always consistent and clean and very easy drinking and budget friendly, which is good when you're trying to start a business. So,
yeah, well, it's funny because I had talked to a lot of people, a lot of the brewers when I first got involved with all these guys, like about 5 or 6 years ago, when I was working at ESPN 1000, I got to know a lot of people from the Illinois Craft Brewers Guild, and they invited me to things. They put me on media lists. I got into stuff and got to meet a lot of people, and they all explained to me how difficult it is for people to make Budweiser and Miller, because every single time it's got to be exactly the same. There's no variations and I'm not saying anybody does this, but if you're a brewer and you make something, it turns out a little bit different, you can name it something else, and it could be something else. They can't do that there. So they explained to me how difficult it is for the people to make Bud and Miller and all those kinds of things. I grew up, I've got Miller Lite fan signs all over the place. My buddy used to work for Miller. And, when I got out of high school, which was decades ago, he would come up with a keg or, cases and beer. So that's why we drank that. Before that, we drank Stroh's, and which a lot of people can't even find now. And I've actually saw a Stroh's truck. We were driving down the road and I saw a Stroh's truck. I was shocked. I was going to stop and ask him where I can get some.
My dad has some of those classic signs in his garage still.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. One other thing I wanted to ask you, and if I can remember, I looked at your place. Do you have enough space to brew enough things? Because I wasn't sure how many tanks you have, and I'm not knowledgeable enough to know, how many you need and how many you have and what you're going to do and, put on, kegs. Like you said, you have 12, so you'd like to have a lot. How does that work for you when you're brewing?
So we took the grow organically model. We didn't just buy the biggest system money could buy, and then then you're stuck with massive batches, and then they're going stale before people can drink them. We didn't like that idea, so we're like, okay, let's start small, and if we outgrow it, then that's a great problem to have. Right. So right now we only have 2 fermenters, believe it or not. But we do have a really big walk-in cooler. So we have a mixture of serving tanks and kegs. Now the serving tanks basically just act like a giant keg. So that makes handling volume a little bit easier. But we're going to make an announcement in a couple of weeks, but we actually have 2 more fermenters on the way. So they are already done deal on those, and they are actually 10 barrel fermenters. So we'll brew 2 times in a row to fill those. So we're actually about to triple our capacity. That's
awesome. So that's really
we're taproom focused, but we plan on doing the hyper local self distribution.
Sure. The Atomic Renegade I saw in a can, was that just in a crowler can, or was that something? Because you're not canning things yet, right?
No, not yet. We do have a mobile canning company that we've been talking with, and so basically, when we're ready to pull the trigger, then awesome. They'll pull their truck up and can some beer for us, and that'll be awesome. But right now we're just doing the crowlers and growlers. But yeah, right now we had an awesome first couple of weeks. People are digging the beer and drinking us dry. So right now we're not focusing on canning necessarily, but just let's get our lines filled. Let's make some more beer. Let's let's get past the catch-up phase,
Sure. And the funny thing is, once you do start canning, that's a whole nother problem you have to deal with, right? Distribution, how you're going to get stuff out to stores, to bars and things like that. And that's probably not easy either. All of a sudden you're going to have hop district trucks or your local car, just driving things out, because I know just to distribute stuff to places that want it, once people start asking, and once you're in cans, they're going to be looking for that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we're gonna be doing hyper local. So maybe just LaGrange, Brookfield, Western Springs, and maybe in a couple of years, if we're lucky enough to grow into being like really high in demand, then we can contract somewhere or get another facility. And if not, then, we've got our own little tap room that's just great for the neighborhood, and I can still walk to work and be happy as could be. So,
okay. One last thing. After just 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, but not much. Has there anything popped up that you didn't expect? I would think something popped up that you didn't expect. Or were you really prepared beforehand?
Well, the easiest answer is the amount of beer we went through.
Sure.
Putting it simply, we went through 3 entire batches of beer in less than a week.
Oh,
each of those was a 5-barrel batch. So we went through 500 gallons of beer in a week. So that was not anticipated. But no, I mean, everything else has been really going very, very smoothly. We've been lucky. Like I said, staff is great. Shane has been doing an awesome job in the tap room. We're taking it week by week and just trying to keep up with demand at this point. Yeah,
no, it's great. Like I said, I scooted over there. You guys are open 3 to 10 Tuesday through Thursday, Friday 3 to 11, and Saturday 11 to 11. And for people that seen this are watching and haven't gone out there, you got to head out there. It's a great time, and the beer is awesome. The beer was great, and I do remember now the hazy I had, the wheat I had, and the Maibach. And I'm a huge Maibach fan, and I had that, and that was very, very good. So everything I had there was good. The people were great, and that's important. And I know that with Shane being a person that worked in that kind of stuff, that's important, because the last thing people want is to, there were a couple of kids there, and I looked, and everybody was smiling, and I said, okay, if everyone's smiling, that's a good sign. That's a good sign.
No, it's been very heartwarming to see, like you said, you look around and everyone's having a great time. It made the year and a half of work disappear.
Sure. I'm sure. Well, I'll get out and see you soon. I know a lot of other people will. I'm sorry to bother you on your one off day on Mondays. I'm sure you probably brewed all day today. That's probably why you have Monday.
I literally did.
Right. That's why a lot of places have Monday off. So I appreciate you for jumping on, and we'll get out and see you soon. Thanks for jumping in.
No, thanks so much for having me. It was great.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks a lot. Jim Koblish from Hop District Brewing. You got to head on out there. It's right on 31st Street, right next to Matone's. I can't read. I've been there a million times. I can't believe I forgot the name. Why Barone? I don't know. But Matone's is right there on 31st Street, and they're right next door. And really nice place, great beer. It's a family-oriented place. You'll enjoy your time. You'll enjoy the beer. And speaking of that, I got a couple of other beer things to get to. But first, I want to hear from a couple of our sponsors, and then I'm going to finish this 12% beer during the break. So let's hear from the sponsors.
Fozzie Football, are you ready, brother? Real football action on a glossy game surface played shuffle style. Slide a shuffle puck at pass or run targets, and a free mobile app keeps track of every game detail. Easy to learn, but this game of skill is difficult to master. Take care of the ball, or turnovers will kill your drive. The game is guaranteed to get your competitive fire burning, and it's perfectly sized to take anywhere. The park, a barbecue, your next tailgate, or fun at home on game nights. Fozzie Football is simply the best, most realistic and competitive game of football available anywhere. Add defense when your skill improves, and take the game to the next level. The perfect mix of fast action and real football drama, where a last-second Hail Mary can break hearts or make champions.
Hi, this is Kathy O'Connell at Coach's Corner, located at 8118 West 143rd Street in Orland Park. Our phone number is 708-364-1026. We are Orland Park's #1 sports bar. Come in for our wonderful beer menu and seltzers with a fully stocked bar. Watch a game, drink a beer, and try something off our amazing menu. We have everything to choose from: nachos, potato skins, and our house-made bar chips to start off with. Then try our tacos, burgers, and one of our delicious sandwiches. And don't leave without trying our famous jumbo wings. They do not disappoint. Coach's Corner. It will sure to become your local bar. Again, we are located at 8118 West 143rd Street in Orland Park. Come see us today.
Kathy was great. Her dad was great. We were out there on the 29th of May for the Sox and the Cubs game. Hopefully we'll do some more of that, and we'll be out in that area. Hopefully a little bit more coming up very, very soon. A couple other beer notes before we get out of here on this Monday night. Nick and Ivy, one of our sponsors. I was there. I was there a lot. I was there on Friday. I met my girlfriend and her brother out there, and then we went to Stagecoach right next door, and it was awesome. I had great food at Stagecoach. Linda had the jalapeno grilled cheese, and that was awesome. I had some great stuff. It was tremendous. The beers were good. They have a lot of beers. I know I saw people at Nick and Ivy, and a guy from Stagecoach came over and said, listen, they told me I can get a beer from here and bring it back over to you to the restaurant. And they did. It's very, very cool. And Nick and Ivy is the same thing, where if you're sitting in Nick and Ivy, you want food, order from Stagecoach, they bring it on over. There's one of their servers comes on over and drops it off. It's really cool. But Chad is leaving. The brewer from Nick and Ivy is leaving. Paul's going to get a new brewer in there, and they're going to crank out great, great stuff. But I had the Farewell Chad the other day. Just a great IPA, really, really good. And I also had a couple of the FC Browns. And I played Fozzie football. I was 0-5. Now, we have an 8-person league, and I was 0-5. And I won 2 games. I played week 6 and week 7 because Old Canal Day is coming up. I got to go there. I can't play on Saturday. So I won 2 games. Now I'm 2-5 in a very, very tough division, a tough 4-team division. So I was happy. But Nick and Ivy had some great, great stuff. Naperville Ale Fest is coming up July 9th. I'm trying to get out there. I got some plans for July 9th. I'm trying to cancel them so I can get on out to Naperville Ale Fest. I have not been out there. It's at the Naperville Settlement from 12 to 5. You can get out there, pick up your tickets, and I hope to see people out there. Solemn Oath has their Oath Day, and this is 10 years of Solemn Oath Brewing. I was at Solemn Oath the day they opened. I heard they were opening. I went out there like 3 o'clock on a Friday, I guess. I don't know what day it was. And I was there for the first day the Solemn Oath opened. Their 10th anniversary this coming Saturday. Tickets are available. Go to Solemn Oath. Check it out. Check out their site on YouTube and find it out. And then my brother-in-law was here today because you've probably heard numerous times throughout this stuff that I'm moving. I'm going to Lockport, beautiful Lockport. And hopefully the house will be ready by the end of this month. And so by let's say 6 weeks from now, I'll be doing these shows from my new home. But my brother-in-law was here because I have 1,200 comic books, and he went through all of them in about 15 minutes. This is good. This is good. This was the first appearance of this guy. This is that. This is that. This is, you might want to check this one out. And he went through all of them. And that was cool. And I told him he's not a beer drinker. He's not a drinker at all. Lots of soda. Like a 2-liter, put a 2-liter in front of him, it's going to be gone in no time at all, okay? Black Horizon on Saturday, June 18th, from 2 to 6, they have what they're calling comic books and brews. They're going to have local and independent artists. They're going to bring stuff there. They're going to have like a mini comic show. So if you're into comics, you're into beer, perfect place to be. Black Horizon. All my guys, Kevin and Alex and Charles, I'll be out there. I know I'm going to be out there sometime that day because, like I said, my brother-in-law doesn't drink. I'll bring him in. I'll drink his beers. He can drive me home. I don't know. Maybe that'll work. But there's a lot more beer stuff going on at this time of year. But I'm really hoping to get out to the Naperville Ale Fest. I've always wanted to go. I was always working. I don't work anymore. I should be able to get out there. They start at 12. And I think I should be able to be out there. So yeah, check with the neighbor, see what the neighbor thinks. If he wants to go on out there, Beer Fest by yourself isn't a bad thing because you can go and hit all the things as opposed to hanging with people. But I was at the Westmont Winter Beer Fest with my neighbor, Jason, and he and his brother-in-law were walking around. I was walking around. we found each other eventually and had a great time. So thanks a lot for jumping on in. Thanks to Jim from Hop District Community Brewing. It's a great place. Head on over there, over on 31st Street, and you'll have a great time. The beer is great. Try the Maibach. It's very good. It's called Definitely Maybe Maibach. Maybe Maibe and a Maibach. The Don't Weed Up is one of their wheats. They got the Atomic Renegade, a Session IPA. It was great talking to Jim. They were so excited to open their place. They've only been open since May 20th. I'm glad he was able to come on. I asked him a couple of weeks ago when they were in the process of getting everything ready. They've been very busy. I appreciate all of his time that he spent with me today. He's been brewing beer all day today. So head on over there. You'll have a great time. I grew up in Cicero. My girl Linda grew up in Berwyn, and we drove past that a million times going out to the western suburbs. And so it's a great place. Head on out to Hop District and you'll enjoy yourself. Thanks to Fat Mike for helping me out today. And hopefully he gets his show on Wednesday. I know he's got a lot of stuff going on right now. And hopefully you'll see us with different backgrounds and everything else in months to come. Okay. We'll try to work that out and we'll let you all know how things are going. You can always find us on the Facebook pages. You can always find us on YouTube, Twitch, and also on Spotify with all the audio the day after the shows. 8:06. Oh my God, and I didn't finish this. Unbelievable. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for jumping on in. Let's see how the Sox and Cubs do. Sox get the Dodgers and the Rangers. The Cubs get the Orioles and the Yankees. Ooh, that's going to be tough. Coming up real soon. What's up, Mike?
Sorry, Fred. You got to finish that beer. There you go. There it is. There it is.
All gone.
There it is.
All gone. I didn't finish it before I got off. And I mean off the show, if you know what I mean. So are you doing your show Wednesday, hopefully?
I will be doing my show on Wednesday. Yes, sir.
Okay. And I know you're bummed out because you lost a game of Fozzie football.
I got my ass beat today. Brad beat me 2-0.
Your first loss.
My first loss. It's a heartbreaker.
Yeah. People that go to Old Canal Days, from what I understand, they can get a beer poured by you.
Yeah. I'll be down there helping Paul pour beers. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out there. It was fun. Hopefully it won't rain. Hopefully we'll have some good weather for Old Canal Days. So
hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Well, thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks to Jim. Thanks to Mike for running this thing as he always does. And we'll be back again next Monday. Check out Mike on Wednesday. Check out Harry on Friday. Jacob on Sunday mornings talking the NFL. We'll talk a lot more NFL as they get closer. Jimmy Garoppolo not practicing, not getting ready, not going to OTAs. I didn't even get into that. But we had a lot of time to talk football. They don't start till September. Thanks for watching here on Huebs Views Brews on Monday nights on 1252 Sports.
Thank you for listening to 1252 Sports Chicago.